I've done what many of you are trying to do right now, and I want to give you the cold cut explanation of what it was that I did in hopes to help you get past the barriers that are stopping you within your journey. Because I understand there's a lot of content out there like, I did this love letter method, and I did this mirror method, and I did this method, and you've probably tried a bunch of them and it doesn't seem to work. Now, my intention with this channel has always been to cut through the fluff and make it as practical as possible while keeping to the principles of spirituality, the subconscious mind and how it works, energy, and so on and so forth. So with this, I'm going to give you the clean cut, this is what I did, this is why it works, in hopes that if you take this on board, it's going to help you as well with your desire. But if you do need any one-to-one help with your situation, down below in the description are the links to my website, and on there you can find coaching packages where you will work directly with me to help you overcome the things getting in your way and provide structure and solution for it. Additional products that you can grab which will help you on your own if you just want some of my knowledge but in a self-study kind of way, or membership tiers where you can get free products, access to exclusive content, such as Katie telling from her own perspective what it was like being manifested, and the full 1 hour and 30-minute long video of how to manifest your ex back, access to calls with me, and so on. So if you need my help, go check that out right now because it will be absolutely amazing for you on your journey. Now, if you could drop me a like and a comment on this video just to let me know you've enjoyed it, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and be sure to click that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for your time. Now into this video. So as I've always advocated, it is your dominant state that manifests. Now, I have used things in the past like the love letter method, like writing a spell out and putting it under your pillow before you go to sleep, and all of that kind of stuff. And while in some things it worked, in others it didn't. Now, this is not because those things don't work, it's because regarding the things that it didn't, my dominant state was not aligned to the desired outcome. Therefore, splashing a little technique in once didn't really make a difference. And that is exactly why I manifested my partner back, because with what it was that I was doing, I wasn't trying to make use of these one-time techniques and things like that. I was ensuring that my state was dominantly aligned with that of having her in this relationship. So what this looked like on a sort of day-to-day basis was when I woke up, because you're in a more natural, drowsy, sleepy state, the subconscious mind is more receptive during that period of time, which basically means it's easier to manifest, or at least it's easier to impress the subconscious mind. So I visualized us reconciling, her opening the door, us having a loving embrace, and we reconciled. I did that for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I aimed to feel myself into that state to provide the inner fulfillment that it was done, because it is so important that we don't look externally for results, fulfillment, reassurance, validation, because when we look externally for that, we're claiming we don't presently have it, which keeps us in a space of not having it, because you get more of what you are, not what you want. So within my visualization, I did the absolute best I could to feel it as true within that moment, feel the satisfaction, the joy, the fulfillment, and then I let go. Well, I say I let go, then I stopped the visualization. After that, I then scripted out a page, maybe 2, depending on how I was feeling, of me just affirming the relationship. Katie and I are perfectly compatible. I'm in a loving relationship with Katie, and so on. Things like that. Once done, I went on with my day. And what I did from here was keep a very good eye on my state and on my thoughts. If I noticed that I was feeling any kind of negative way, I would try to catch it and redirect my awareness back to things that made me feel better. So if I was feeling anxious that it wouldn't work, I'd go inward and go, no, it's already worked because I'm in a loving, committed relationship. Or I would use the I remember when technique to affirm, I remember when I was feeling anxious, but now I feel amazing because we're together. Or I remember when Katie said we weren't compatible, but now she knows we are. And things like that. And I kept up with that all throughout the day until it got to just before going to sleep, to which I would script again and then visualize again and try to fall asleep to my visualization. And this was my day-to-day process until the day before it happens, by which point I sat with myself and thought, you know what, I need to release a little. So I sat there and I discussed with myself all the reasons why I would be okay without Katie. Now, this wasn't an indulgence of not having her. This was me discussing with myself, I've got great friends. I've got great this, I've got great that. I've got family members that I can rely on now. I've got my own place. I've got just all of these kinds of things, basically. I went over all the things that made me a valuable individual, at least to myself, in hopes to see myself better, to release some of that attachment so I could come more from the perspective of, I want Katie, but I do not need her. If this happens, great. If this doesn't, that's okay too. Now, this wasn't a way of getting me to not want her by any stretch of the imagination, before you sit there thinking things like, well, I want them, so I won't do that. This was a way of releasing attachment to make it easier to get her. This was a process by which I understood that if I engaged in, my journey would be more beneficial for me, so I engaged in it. It's kind of like, really silly example, but it's kind of like doing something you don't want to do, but knowing that it's the right thing for you to do. I don't want to get up and go to work, but by doing so, I get money to pay for the things I want. I don't want to go to the gym, but by doing so, I build a physique that makes me feel good, and so on. I didn't want to let go of her, but by releasing the need that I had, it made it easier to get her. See why I did that? And by doing this, I released that attachment, which allowed all of the work that I've been doing, the visualizations in the morning and the evening, the scripting in the morning and the evening, the affirming throughout the day. It allowed all of that to work and get to work. I went to sleep that night and I woke up to a missed call. In fact, I woke up to 2 missed calls, and on my phone at the time, it showed the most recent missed call and who it was, and it said my mum. Now, I just knew that the other missed call was Katie. I don't know why I knew. We hadn't spoken to each other. We hadn't texted, we hadn't done anything like that. And I had a missed call from my mum, which would make it seem like maybe she'd called me twice and I'd missed them both. But for some reason, I just knew it was Katie. I called her back and she was actually on the way to my house, because I was staying at my friend's house on that night. But she was on the way to my house and she was saying basically, look, she made a mistake. She wants to reconcile, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, well, I'm not there right now. She came and picked me up from my friend's house and we had a discussion. I didn't immediately jump back into the relationship because I knew there was things that I needed to change as well as her. And I wanted to have that discussion prior. And she actually said she was quite taken aback. She didn't realize, there was not a part of her that had even considered that I wouldn't immediately say yes. Because of course, she's playing by my script where I was saying that we were in a relationship and so on. So why would she assume that we weren't going to be? She dropped me back at my friend's house that night and I stayed there for another night. I then went round to hers the day after. And lo and behold, that scene near enough happened. She opened the door. We had a big embrace. It was lovely. Now, the reason why this worked, but the love letter methods and the spells under the pillow method and all those kind of things that I'd done previously with other people hadn't worked, is because with those ones, I wasn't being dominant in the state. I mean, I was doing the method thinking this will fix everything. And then as soon as I'd watched that YouTube video, I'd done the little spell, put it under my pillow and stuff, which I do think actually work because you're setting intentions and so on. You're just doing it through a structured way. So definitely don't scoff at spells and all those kinds of things. Whether or not you want to believe that like sort of spooky, witchy stuff is up to you. But the intention behind the spell and so on has an impact on your state and your consciousness. But I was doing all of those things, and as soon as I'd put it under the pillow, I was back on YouTube, like, oh, Libra tarot reading. Oh, what's the other things? Like the next YouTube video about a technique, and oh, this, all that. And then I'd call my friend and go like, oh, it's not working, nothing's happening, does this even work, and so on. So of course it wasn't going to work. I wasn't in a dominant state. There's no one technique that will resolve you just being in a bad mindset. You can use Neville Goddard sats. You can do the 10K challenge, affirmation challenge. You can do love letters, spells. You can scream it from the rooftops and hope that she hears it. But if outside of doing that, you're back to, they don't want me, this isn't going well, nothing's going to work, does manifestation even work? Does tarot readings mean anything? What does this tarot reading say? If you go right back to that stuff, you're not going to get anywhere. So this is why my specific person manifestation and things since then have worked, but stuff prior hasn't, because I realized that I needed to focus more on the consistency and dominancy of my state than finding the perfect goofy TikTok technique. Now, while yes, any technique may work if used correctly, like I said, is not going to outwork a bad mindset. Just like you can't out-exercise a bad diet, just like you can't, those kinds of things. Basically, I'm not going to give you a bunch of examples, but those sorts of things. So with your journeys, please take it on board that you need to be as consistent and dominant in that state, and choose the timeline of being with your person. What I mean by that is, instead of looking at the 3D like, oh, what's going to go on? What's going to happen? Should I check their socials? Is this class that's living in the end? Is this blah, blah, blah? And getting all worked up, decide, I am with them. They are my person right now. Choose the timeline and walk in that confidence that it is done. The same way that when you're feeling good, you've put on a really good outfit, you walk into the trashiest supermarket feeling like God. Or you walk down the street and you just know that people are looking at you. That same confidence, that same decision that I am the shit right now, is how you should walk, as though they are your person. You decide they are mine and you walk in that confidence. By doing so, you are aiding in that trust that it's done. You're choosing an outcome, dwelling in it, doing the work to make it happen, and walking as though it has already happened. Now, you don't need to follow my exact routine if you don't want to. In fact, I highly recommend you find one that does feel good for you, because what I did may be a little bit too much. But this is what I did to manifest my specific person, so I know that it works. But like I said, if you want some one-to-one help to get clear on what works for you and how to go about it, and if you're genuinely serious about manifesting your specific person, head down to the description right now and sign up for my coaching service. If you want more from me, but not on a one-to-one basis, I have tons of self-study worksheets that are exceptionally valuable and have helped many people really dive deeper into where they're at and what they can do. So go check those out. If you want more exclusive content, like I mentioned, Katie telling the story from her own perspective, and other amazing videos like the full Manifest Your X-Back mini course, that is available on the memberships. Check that out. On the highest tier, you also get 3 manifestation days for free per month and a 10-minute call with me. You'd be crazy not to. And I have finally, after over a year of working on it, finished my full Manifest Your X-Back course. Now, this course is 6 hours long worth of lessons. I think there's 23 lessons in total, 6 hours worth of content. In those lessons are also free worksheets that come with the necessary lesson that they attain to. So you save money on the worksheets as well if you wanted it. And it is, like I said, over a year of working on it. It is built to make sure you know everything that is necessary about manifesting your X-Back or a new person, because it is also transferable, but most people are manifesting X's back, so I tailored it to that. And that is also on my website live right now. You can gain it on its own, or you can join the Elite Academy and get that course and any future ones as just free editions. But thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm really happy that you've decided to stick this far out into the call. I look into the video even. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and I really hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.